Hello, I'm Helene Marshall, and I'm here to tell you about SOFLA. This is SOFLA. It's the Synchronous online flipped learning approach, and it has 8 steps. We're going to look at each step very quickly. These are the 8 steps in the cycle. Here they are. And we're going to look at each one. Let's begin with number 1, the pre-work. Okay, the pre-work can be video lessons or shared readings. What you're doing is giving explicit instruction that you're providing asynchronously. 3 characteristics that this instruction should have: structured, interactive, and multimodal. You target questions that are embedded into the video or into the reading, and make sure that you have interaction and activities along the way at points so that students do not lose focus. Then you're going to download the data. Whatever you get from the students will help inform your instruction so that you can clarify misconceptions later, as we will see when we get to the other steps. We now go to step 2, which is the sign-in. Now we're in class. So the synchronous class starts with a sign-in, and this can be any type of prompt that can relate back to the video or back to the reading, back to the pre-work. Whatever it was they were supposed to learn, this is to find out if they got it. But your question has to be something that will have multiple responses from students, not a single response. Everybody's going to have something different. I also put an example there from the affective domain because every now and then that's more important. So it doesn't always have to be about the pre-work. When they sign in, they sign their name. This is a way to take attendance. This is a way to get them there on time. This is also a kickoff that begins with students, not with the teacher. Step 3 is whole group. You remember I mentioned clarifying. This is a chance to clarify misconceptions from the pre-work. This is teacher-led but not teacher-centered, so you're guiding from the side, and what you're doing is moving deeper into the content or clarifying the content, and the students collaboratively create a product, create something that they are going to work on together with the teacher, correcting, guiding, and nudging. They can be using a whiteboard, they can be talking, but it's the whole class participating, not just a few people. Then we move on to the breakouts. Now they're ready to go out on their own. So you put them into groups. This is similar to in-class instruction and depends on how you want to group them, what it is they're doing, but make sure that they produce a product and that they're accountable, because otherwise they can use their time not so wisely, and we want them to stay on task. Then they come out of the breakouts and they're going to share. So there are different ways to share. If they all did the same activity, just have maybe one group share. If they all did different activities, you need more time for the share out, and each group needs to share what they did. They're pieces of a puzzle. What I use for the share out is that everyone else who was listening or watching during the sharing is now going to be using the SHAC technique: share, help, ask, and comment, for the peer feedback piece. Then we go on to step 6. The lesson is essentially completed at this time. There are 3 more steps, but the 3 final steps focus on either looking forward or looking back. But the lesson now has taken its course. So, preview and discovery. This step, very important because it ensures they're going to do the pre-work. What do? Well, you take a look at the textbook or take a look at a piece of the video. You get them interested, you get them involved. You might pose a problem that they're going to have to address that you know they're not quite ready to, but it piques their curiosity. You can pre-teach a concept or a term, get them dipping toes in the water to the next assignment. Anything that gives them motivation or curiosity is what you're going to do in step 6. You decide what you think is the most compelling. You can also informally assess where they are with their prior learning on what's coming up next in your class. Then you give the explicit instructions. This is pretty much the same as you would in an in-person class, except that you have to be even more explicit online. And you map it out in the synchronous session. You also post it in your LMS, wherever you keep your assignments. You also send out an announcement and maybe even a reminder just the day before. That's the assignment instructions, step 7, and finally we come to step 8, which is a reflection. They're reflecting with their name on whatever sticks with them from that class. So they're going back now to take a look at what they did that day in class, the whole thing, the whole lesson, and they pick one takeaway. All right? That's the last step. That's it. Thank you, and we are done.